Congressman Mark Harris of North Carolina joins us now. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
Thank you.
There is a lot of questions surrounding this agreement because the U.S. is saying that this is what's in it, and the Iranians are saying a lot of very different things, and they're still, trying to lob things up at the ships in the Strait of Hormuz. So, do you believe that the two sides really understand the same way what this agreement means?
Well, that's a great question, Edie and Lydia, and thank you for having me today. One of the things I think we've watched as the whole G7 has unfolded is we're seeing America at its leadership once again in a great way. We're seeing America being that leader as President Trump is moving forward. I think when you look at this Iranian deal, we've all had the same concerns. We've all had the same skepticism, and that is that you can't trust the Iranians. We know that they lie. We know that they mislead. We also know that there's a reality here where there's been such a splintering that no one's completely sure who's in charge. Is it their guard that's there that is wanting to keep this military action going? Is it the government leaders that it seems to be who they're negotiating with, the foreign minister and others? We just don't know. But I do believe that President Trump is well aware of that situation, and I have a great deal of confidence in where we are right now, that this is going to get done and that we're going to move into this 60-day process. And the president's been very, very clear about what is at stake and what has to be done, and mainly that this is not going to be about words on a page. This is going to be about performance and action.
Right. Hopefully transform the Middle East. Again, keep it locked right here. President Trump will be addressing the world from the G7 and will be answering these tough questions when it comes to Iran. One of the major sticking points, whenever I talk to my family and friends, they hear about this $300 billion. President Trump calling it fake news. Then we're hearing not a single taxpayer dollar. Lindsey Graham said this is like defeating the Nazis in World War II, but leaving them in charge to run the Marshall Program. What do you make of any kind of money being unfrozen, released, or whatever you want to call it? I understand not taxpayer dollars to any money to a regime that has killed tens of thousands of its own people, that has backed proxies that wish death upon Americans.
Listen, everyone has calls for the concern in any kind of funding that ends up going back to this regime. We keep reminding ourselves every day that we're in this situation because this is the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. That regime, where they've taken out the top levels of leadership, it's still the same ideology. It's still the same root that is in place. However, I do believe the president, as his team is working through this, is understanding that when you do hear these dollars thrown around like $300 billion, that is something that is out there in the future that would be investment by those Arab states, the Gulf coalition, if you will, that's been put together that would be able to make investment in rebuilding the nation of Iran. But I think that there will be so many strings tied to that kind of money that would be released. And the president, again, has made it clear he's not going to invest 10 cents in Iran. There won't be any taxpayer dollars going into Iran, to this regime. But I do think that when you think about the $300 billion, that is the neighbors, that's anyone that chooses to invest in really putting this country back to a place. And wouldn't it be nice if the people are able to ultimately overthrow this regime?
No, that's
and the
what we're
people
all
of
hoping
Iran
for, I think.
Come out, then have that kind of help to be able to rebuild their country.
And more clarity. Hopefully we'll get that when the president speaks any moment now.
Yeah, Congressman Mark Harris, thank you very much.